everybody. Here it is, the 1st of May. Haven't done my eBay listings yet. I've procrastinated. I had one more plane that I wanted to finish, and this is a really neat one. Let's take a look at this. Somewhere around 2010, I got this bright idea that I would take a Stanley 74 floor plane and convert it into a smoothing plane. If you're familiar with the 74 floor plane, they're a monster. They normally have a wooden handle like a broomstick with 2 totes attached to it, and they would push that, they'd be standing up and push it to plane floors. The weight is what held it down, and you had to concentrate on pushing. I never actually used one of those. I've had one with its handles, and this one, this was the bright idea plane. Here it is. I think it looks pretty darn cool. The wood is all rosewood. Everything's been fit and it's functional, and it just looks really neat. And the thing weighs 9 pounds 14 ounces, so that's a lot of plane. I designed the handle like that for a purpose, and you're going to see what it is here in a little bit. We'll get a look at it from all angles. One neat thing about the handle design is you can do this. As heavy as what it is, instead of setting it down on the iron, that flat fronted handle, it sits there perfectly just like what you see it. And this gives us a chance to take a look at the design of that tote. That's a massive tote. I took 2 big pieces of rosewood, glued them together, and then tooled all that out. I worked on this plane, put a lot of hours into it, gave up back in 2010, 2011. Then I went back to it and worked on it some more, and finally I finished it in 2012. I took it to a tool show, and when the thing shut down after the weekend, loaded all my stuff into totes, put it in the back of my trailer, double tarped it because it was going to rain, unloaded it the next day. Long story short was, one tub was really heavy. I didn't remember it being that heavy, and I never opened it up. 6 months later I opened the tub, and it was 3/4 full of water. This plane, a couple Stanley No. 2s, all kinds of decent stuff was in there, and this plane was basically destroyed. So a week ago I decided, after all that work, probably 60 hours maybe into this thing, I went and total after last week I put it back together, and you see it like it is today. I've got the iron set already because I tested it out, and so I'm not going to take it apart just now. I'll do it after we test drive it. Then I had another bright idea that I would make a second iron and see if this thing works as a scrub plane. 10 pounds of weight moving with a iron design like a scrub plane iron ought to make a really decent plane. So that's something else we're going to do when we test it out. Let's see what it'll do regular planing. So the handle's got lots of room, which is nice, and your hand just tucks right in underneath it. The front knob with the recess all around allows you to give it a good grip, and as heavy as what it is, you need it when you want to pick it up. What's really cool though is this thing just pushes through effortlessly. Get that 10 pounds moving. That knot that's in the center of this thing, there's nothing. And you can see these shavings are just flying up out of the throat. And a big throat it is, the shavings. It's too bad this is the only one in the world, because as nice as what this is to use, everybody should have one. Look at that. Oh yeah. I'm happy with this performance. You'd think that something this heavy would be harder to use, but the weight's all on the wood. So all I got to do is push it, and that momentum just keeps it moving nice. enough said. That's a performer. And I said I'm going to show you what the other part of this design is for on the handle. So when you're walking to your job site, you put your hand in there like that, and you just carry it nice and easy, because a 10-pound plane is not like a regular one. So that recess all around, it's a nice thing to have. So I put my scrub plane blade into there, and the second part of this performance evaluation is to see how it works as a scrub plane. Got a piece of elm. Seems like the way of the plane makes it pretty easy to go sliding across there. It is definitely taking off lots of wood. So you can definitely peel off some shavings. I'd say that's enough of a test. There's a look at the results. Got shavings all over my bench. And there's the board that we were working on. So she definitely scrubbed it down. And there's a look at the business end of using it as a scrub plane. I didn't use a full width number 8 iron because it just didn't seem like made any sense wasting a full length or full width iron. I've got I think it's a number 4 size, 2-inch in there, because the whole thing doesn't come out when you use a scrub plane. So now that she's passed the test, I'm going to take it apart and show you what it looks like. The front knob comes off just like a front knob on a regular bench plane. I just remove that brass nut and the knob will come off. I welded that square piece with the receiver for the threaded female end. Just cut it right out of another plane and then welded it on so it holds the knob in place. So that's what the front looks like, and there's the knob shape to put inside the front. And I just made a big old hole in the bottom to fit over top of that receiver. And there's the front profile of the knob. The only other thing that comes apart is the lever cap comes off and the iron. So with them removed, you see the 2 metal pieces that run up off the base. They're what holds the blade. The lever cap turns it down against those. They run all the way down the base, and I fit the rosewood in between. That knob there, I'm sorry, that nut, that brass nut, is just for show. It doesn't do anything. I ended up Gorilla Gluing the whole back handle in, as I was tired of spending time on it, and it works. So the tote, kind of an infill, it follows the same angle as what the blade does. And that's all the further it comes apart. Those cross pieces here, this one screws out, and the one down there at the bottom screws out. Everything's free, and that's it when it's apart. So there she is, resting after all that hard work. What an odd looking but beautiful plane. So after all that work, my custom number 74, not a floor plane anymore, but a smooth and scrub plane, is going to go on eBay with my May listings. So we'll see what I can get for this. It was a neat project in the making. It took almost 7 years to do, and novelty's already worn off. So it's on to the next thing after I clean this mess up, and it's time for supper. So hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.